Okay, let's start. So I've targeted this to be about 45 minutes to 1 hour, so give or take. And then please hold your questions to the end. And if you have any questions, put it in the chat and I'll answer them at the end of the session, because I'm going to give you quite a lot of information. So in the interest of time, I will be moving very quickly. If some you get it, it's okay. If you don't get it, it's okay. You can always review it, because the recording will be made available to my Facebook group once I have that organized, and I'll invite you guys to join if you are interested. Okay, let's get started. Okay, so today's event is about unleashing your passion as a coach, or the client's passion for their Ikigai. Because often when I coach clients, I ask them this question: so how is it related to your life purpose? Quite often they say, I haven't figured out my life purpose yet. So I believe personally, and also in a coaching environment, I think as a coach, we need to uncover what makes them tick, what makes them wake up in the morning to do the things that they want to do, right? So I see our journey as a coach, like the caterpillar who is growing the cocoon and slowly opening up and being the butterfly it's going to be. And a little bit about myself: I'm a PCC coach. I'm also a Coach Hub coach and an Ericsson coaching pro bono coach. I have 28 plus years experience in the corporate, and then 10 years as an entrepreneur, track info, selling IT equipment, training development, and also a design thinking facilitator. And I did some sales training workshops, and then I pivoted into coaching. So just very quickly, okay, let me let in a few people. So while I let in a few people, can you just scan this QR code and then share with me where you're from? And then we'll just one from me. Okay, let me just let some more people in. I'll also enter it myself. Put Singapore. Very nice. Okay, we have quite a diverse group of people. Okay, let's move on. Okay, so basically, Ikigai is about doing what you love and loving what you do, right? Very simple. So I think you know that. So what you need today is just a pen and paper. There will be an exercise. Just keep your mind open, have an open mindset. And maybe I'm going to challenge you to practice mindfulness for this whole session. See if you are able to be mindful, because as a coach, or even as a coachee, you have to be mindful, pay attention, be in the moment, not get distracted when you are coaching a client. So I like to challenge you guys to pay attention, be mindful. If for some reason your mind goes somewhere else, try to pull it back. So that's a very good practice of being mindful. So I like you to practice that. I mean, I didn't have time, or else I would have even done a 3-minute meditation on this. Okay. Okay, so this is a picture of a lighthouse. We all need a lighthouse. In the early days, when people didn't have navigation system or GPS, sailors used to depend on lighthouses along. When from Europe, they went to Asia, to China, they would go around Africa, South Africa, India, the Middle East, and so on, and they would depend on lighthouses to move along the way. So we need lighthouses for ourselves. It's a beacon to direct us, a moral compass, for us to even think of what we want to do for our life purpose, right? So we need to be guided. Okay, there are certain things I will not do as a matter of principle. Certain things I will not compromise as my values. So we all need that before we even talk about Ikigai. So the reason I pulled this session together about Ikigai is many times when I was coaching clients, I realized that many of them do not have their life purpose. So it'd be good for them to have their life purpose. And a lot of them tell me, I've never thought of it. I even had a client who I was coaching. He was a VP for software development in a large multinational. So one day I was just asking him, so how does whatever you're doing tie in with your life purpose? Then he laughed and said, actually, my life purpose is not to be in software development. I want to be a chef, actually. So, but I can't really get paid, and this job pays me well. So I'll hold that off for a moment. So I think that's fine also. You can be doing something that pays for something that you can develop. And over time, you can slowly move back to your true passion, per se, right? So, I mean, we all need to live our lives. So when you look around, there's so many people out there, we need to differentiate ourselves. We need to find our why. And it's always, from what I've seen so far, most of the time, people who have discovered their why are passionate in what they're doing, and they become very successful in doing what they do. So just a little thing about Ikigai. This is the book you can read. I also have this book, the Ikigai, the same book. I've been reading this book for 5-10 years ago, and I'm passionate about discovering Ikigai. And one of the reasons why I started exploring Ikigai, because in 2008 I came across this book, The Blue Zones. The Blue Zones covers 5 regions in the world, and it was a study done by this person. He was curious that why people in these 5 zones live longer than others, than the national averages, and in many places they live beyond even 100. And he discovered that in Japan, Okinawa, one of the 5, the people live long because of Ikigai. They all have Ikigai. They all have a life purpose. Even grandparents who are in their 80s, 90s, they have a purpose to take care of their grandchildren, to go and help the community, and they walk a lot. So these are some of the things that I was curious, which is why I came across, and I started exploring and researching Ikigai. And if you have Ikigai, naturally the people around you will be much happier, the families, etc. And you create joy, fulfillment to yourself and everyone around, and you'll be able to inspire. And I've been doing some of these webinars for quite some time now, and I hope to inspire. And I thought, why not? I can also do this with coaches, right? In this event. So Ikigai, if you are not familiar with it yet, or if you know about it, well, we can have a refresher right now. So Ikigai is about doing what you love and what you're good at and what the world needs and what you can be paid for at the same time, right? So it could be someone like a lawyer who suddenly discovers his passion for baking and goes out and set up his own bakery and becomes successful as a baker. And he became good at it because he went for courses, he had a passion for learning. And it's something that people will pay for, good pastries, good cakes, and good croissants. And it's also something that the world needs, right? People need food, and it's something he loves. He dies to do it, right? He will die to do it. So just to share you some questions you could ask your client about love, what you love to do, right? I mean, someone can say, I love to do everything. But when you dig down deeper, what do you love doing as a child? You need to ask a coaching question like that without care for time, flow, engagement, and positive, right? If you're not a coach, you can also ask these questions yourself, right? And you can also ask yourself, why am I doing this, right? And then you go to what you're good at. So what you're good at is what you did well, or what people praised you. Oh, maybe your boss tells you that you're good at convincing people to buy products, or your strength is in communicating to people, or you make people happy, you make people around you like you, you're a likable person. So those are skills that you can be good at. And then, of course, what the world needs most, what the people talk about, what are services. So I think given the pandemic, we're talking about mental health. It's a big issue, right? Some people don't even realize that they have mental health issues. Some people struggle even to go back to work because they're so used to working from home to working remotely and not having to dress up for work, it became stress to them. And suddenly they have to start thinking again, right? What to wear to work, etc., etc. So this to change the world. And then, of course, what you can be paid for, what services you offer, what can you be paid, and what are the high demand services, which actually relate to what people need. So often, sometimes you know what you love to do, what you're good at, what you can be paid for, but it's not necessarily something the world needs. So potentially you could build the demand for it. You could start doing pro bono services. For example's sake, if people never heard of coaching in your area, where you can start offering services, free services, and get them to feel. And that's why complimentary sessions, chemistry sessions, that's all what it's all about, right? It's about people who have not tried, who have not understood the power of coaching. Then you can go into that area. So in terms of steps, so you find out what the world needs. You can go the other way around. You can do in any order that you feel comfortable with. Find out what the world needs. Develop skills that can make life better. You can create happiness from the impact of you as a coach, and something that you can be paid for. Solve a problem you be paid for. You can also go into niche coaching. You can go do career coaching, entrepreneur coaching, business modeling coaching. There's so many areas of coaching. And in fact, there are many people out there, even without ICF certification, they call themselves coaches, right? Because they have coached through the experience that they had, and people are happy to pay them to serve in whatever they do. And what more? We are all certified. We have the technique, we have the motivation, so we should be able to succeed. And so Ikigai, there's some questions that you could ask the clients or even ask ourselves if we do not know our Ikigai. I presume all of us, all our Ikigai is coaching, right? We love to do what you're good at, what you're paid for, and what the world needs, right? So the coaching questions you could ask for what you love to do, what you never get bored doing, when are you happiest? To me, in many instances, when I coach and I see the results, I feel very happy, right? And over time, I've also developed unconscious competence, just like the way you drive. You unconsciously competent in what things that you are doing, and also what you can be paid for. So what would you do if you're not paid for? And then you can ask what other things can you do to bring meaning to yourself? This is a coach asking a client. So Ikigai is basically a Japanese secret for a long and happy life. And to me, it's my secret of a long and happy life through coaching. So some examples of what some of my clients have said about their Ikigai. They are good in writing, analysis, they're good in listening. So if you are a good active listener like a coach is, I think you can be a good salesperson who can listen to the needs of your customers and what you can be paid for, analysis, insights, business analysis. Of course, coaching are things that people need: sales coaching, mentoring, and writing, consulting, etc. And so some of these are from examples of the clients I've coached. So teaching, coaching, mentoring, traveling. And one person I've coached specifically, she likes dancing. She likes listening to people. She likes helping people. She has high degree of empathy. She's a coach. But in her free time, she also foresees that one day she may take people on cycling tours around the city. By the way, this person is from Peru in South America. So potentially we can explore a lot of things. Once you start exploring Ikigai, you can explore a lot of things. So Ikigai is a Japanese concept. So for me, this is my personal sphere. What I love to do: coaching, run workshops, keeping healthy, because I was a cancer survivor. I survived my cancer. I'm living on one kidney. I removed my kidney in 2009. That's about 14 years ago. Personal development, home enhancement. I'm good at simplifying things, explaining things, and doing workshops like this, empathizing, understand what people need, and I understand what the world needs: mental health, how you can maximize potential, coaching, high performance. And I believe I can be paid for coaching, business consulting, and advising health issues, and my meditation, mindfulness. These are some examples. And when I merge all of them, then I get my Ikigai. And it's not surprising that my Ikigai is coaching. So if my Ikigai is not coaching, I wouldn't be talking here. So, okay. So now we go to, this is the halfway point. It's about 20 minutes already. So I hope I'm on the right track. This is like how we do coaching also, right? Halfway through a coaching session, we ask people how are they feeling. Any comments so far? Just stop sharing. See anybody any comments? Anybody any comments so far? You can put in chat also. If not, I assume everybody is okay. Thumbs up. Okay. All right, let me continue. Okay. So I've summarized the five simple questions or 5 simple steps for me to do coaching. I use a lot of visualization in my coaching. When I coach face to face or do remote, I mean remote sometimes help because you can pull out imagery and then ask the client to comment. But face to face also you can ask them to imagine, right? So I like to use visuals. So this is one visual I use. You're in the middle of a lake, looking at so many hills, mountains around you, and you ask them the question, or you ask yourself your question, right? What do you want to be? What is your Ikigai? What are your values and beliefs? And what is your moral compass? So that's where you are. Then you talk about desired outcome. What do you want to achieve? What do you want to do that is in line with your Ikigai? That's you are aligned with your Ikigai. Ideas that you have to get there. If supposedly you want to start a restaurant, then you go learn cooking, learn how to prepare food, etc. The steps for you to get there. And the commitment. The commitment is what transforms a promise into reality. You can get coached, you can coach somebody and he says all the nice things or things I want to do, but if he's not committed, 2 weeks later, he has not done a single thing, then you know this person is not committed. And I think you probably needs to be coached on how to commit yourself to the things that you want to do. So it's a simple 5-step process that I summarized. Okay, now let's look at like case study, right? Imagine I'm just creating imagine a client. We assume as this profile that he's a sales manager. He wants to be a sales VP of a large pharmaceutical company, and he wants to make a difference to the lives of others by selling drugs that can save lives and can make a difference and impact their patients, the company's patients, and can work with hospitals, with medical institutions, with doctors to save lives, right? So that's his mission, his Ikigai, his life purpose, why he exists today. He wants to help and ensure that the right people get the right access to medicine and technology. So, and we have that before I coach people on their Ikigai or how to execute their Ikigai. I go through a 3-step process. One is to ask them to have self-compassion for themselves, the coach as well as the client. Do not be too hard on yourself if you fail, right? Failure is always a learning. Even for us as coaches, sometimes when we fail, we can learn from it. We can learn not to do the same things again. And like saying from Einstein, insanity is trying to do the same thing again and again and expecting the same results. So always try different things. Be kind to yourself, for the client, as also to ourselves. And in fact, tomorrow I have another session called overcoming the imposter syndrome by embracing imperfection. So I know about this term called perfect imperfection. So if you are interested, you can also attend that session tomorrow. Okay. Then the other thing I want my clients to do is sometimes when they're lost, they don't know what to talk about, I ask them to practice a little mindfulness. So it's just a 3-minute breathing exercise, in, out, pay attention to your breath. And if you lose focus, don't get stressed, but just come back to the moment and continue doing that and feel your body. So this is about pausing, this is about stopping everything you do. Imagine I'm doing it now. I stop imagining that I'm stopped, and I imagine that I've stopped the presentation. I'm not presenting to anybody. I start focusing on my breathing. And then I expand, I get the feeling of my, and for a short moment just now, I actually even forgot that I was presenting to you guys, right? So that's the power of practicing mindfulness sometimes. If I have time at the end of the session, I can show you one short example. I can demonstrate. You see how it goes. And then the other thing is self-awareness. Self-awareness about ourselves, our strengths, what we can do, what we cannot do. And sometimes when we are in the moment, we are doing something, we cannot afford to lose focus. Imagine if this guy is climbing up the mountain and then suddenly he remembers he forgot to do something. I'm sure he'll fall down because he will lose concentration, forgot to click, and he will definitely. So I like this image to remind us to be watchful. A lot of times accidents happen when people lose focus, lose attention. Like they did not pay attention. So keep going. And sometimes it also happens with our clients when we coach, and also to ourselves when we are coaching. Okay, so I'll just come to the next part of it, where this is how I would help a client. Remember the client who was a sales manager, he wants to move up, his Ikigai is helping people with the medicine, the drugs that the company sells. So now he wants to focus on coaching the client. So you could start by having a balance view. So a balance view will be things that help a person advance in a career. So set clear goals, build strong network, develop new skills, seek feedback, etc. And I have two blank here. You can add your own category to the client, or you can even change the whole thing, And if you like, you can even try this on my website. It's coach-life.com/BW for balance view -career there's advanced. So you can actually try the balance view over there. And I integrated it for my website. I use it for my clients. There was one time where the client told me, "Hey, JK, I don't have anything to talk about today. I don't know what to discuss." Right? You discuss whatever we discussed before, and everything seems to want to plan, and I need to do something. So I said, "Okay, can we go to my website and look at the balance view?" So he picked one randomly, and then he looked at all the areas. And after we rated them, so this is how I rate mine. And he started focusing on the low rating ones. He said, "Oh, okay, maybe we can talk about that today." So it's also a way to create a topic if they don't have a topic, if they run a topic. So I also have another session to cover balance view tomorrow. I'm doing 2 more tomorrow, one on balance view and one on imposter syndrome. So I'm demonstrating the many uses of the balance view. On my website, I have 10 balance views for 10 different things. And there are also many ways to use it, right? So that's how I do it. I also have used it to help somebody find out whether he should take on a new responsibility in the organization, a totally different new role, and it worked very well for him. Okay, so for this, what I do is that I will look at this, and then once we identified the low scores, like for example, this is my score, right? I feel that I'm not setting clear enough goals, and I build strong networks. I have growth mindset. So what I do is we can go to the next step is to identify the low scores, right? So for example, if the client identified that low score on set goals, clear goals, so we can go to set clear goals. So set clear goals, I have another image, steps to get there, right? Steps to get there. So I ask, so what are your goals in line with your Ikigai? Right? You say, oh, okay, my goal may be to become a sales director in 3 years' time, right? Then I ask the next question. can you be more specific? What do you mean by promoted? In the same role, selling the same thing, or doing something else in a different company or in the same company? So can you be more specific? Smart objectives, right? Specific, measurable, aggressive, achievable, realistic, and time bound, right? Then you create a plan, set a timeline. So what sort of timeline? So this is a typical coaching scenario, right? So you can have one session just on one of these, right? Imagine a 30 to 60-minute session on this, right? Then we can go back. And I said, oh, okay, I noticed there's a low score here and seek feedback. So I'll ask the question, would you like to explore a little bit more on seeking feedback? So then I say, okay. Then we talk about feedback, means about looking at results, finding out how you're doing from your management and from your peers or people who report to you, right? So it's the best way to find your 360 feedback, right, on what goes well. So you can ask questions like, sorry, I can't remember. Oh, okay, how you can be open to feedback, right? Because some people, by their natural behavior, people will not give them feedback, right? Because they feel that they're very close or they might be offended. So you may want to have to specifically ask for it or be more open or behave more open to comments, to discussion, and make yourself open, right?